If you're under the age of 40, you might know Amanda Knox's name, but maybe not much else. Her story would take me the rest of this hour to tell you, so I will just say that she was wrongly convicted of murdering her roommate while she was studying abroad. And she spent almost 4 years in an Italian prison before she was finally cleared. But even if you lived through every moment of the media coverage, and there was a ton of it, there is so much of the story that none of us knew until now. In her new memoir called Free, My Search for Meaning, Knox takes us into that foreign prison cell with all of the lecherous Italian prison guards. She also takes us into her struggle to reclaim her life amid years of twists and turns in a foreign legal system. Yesterday, Amanda appeared with me on this program to talk about the abuses that she suffered in that Italian jail and the unlikely relationship that she has since forged with the prosecutor who put her away. Tonight, she reveals another surprising detail. The relationship with that prosecutor continues to this day. Here's part 2 of my conversation with Amanda Knox.
He did not say, "I'm sorry." He did not say, "I was wrong." He did say, "You are not the person that I thought I was prosecuting, and that if I were asked to prosecute this case again today, I would not."
Wow.
And so the metaphor that I'm trying to use to describe what this experience was like, and he said much more than that, and I talk about it a lot in the book of like things that, little ways that he has revealed himself to me, not just himself, but his perspective on the case and how it has evolved. He talks, it's almost like this like little chess match where he drops little nuggets to let me understand things about how what he thinks and how his thinking has evolved without explicitly saying it. He's a lawyer, he's very careful. But he wants me to know that he cares about me, that he recognizes he was a source of suffering in my life and he no longer wants to be that source of suffering.
You gonna have a relationship going forward with him, do you think, or is that done?
Well, he texted me today.
Wow.
No, he tends to send me text messages every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
What kind of messages? Like uplifting or?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time he's keeping up with the Trump debacles and has his own perspective.
He wants a relationship with you.
Yes. He really wants to be my friend, and he is consistently informing me that he cares about me, and he wants me to be happy. And so,
do you enjoy this relationship? Is it as fulfilling for you, perhaps, that it is for him?
Well, it's complicated, right? Like,
I'll say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And again, like, so the way that I try to approach it is thinking about the world in a very specific kind of way. You can look at the world and at people and at relationships like a department store where you go in to get what you want, you know where it is, you know that you're going to find, you know, a box of cereal that you specifically want, you're going to buy it, you're going to take it home with you. That's living in a world where you have expectations that you are going to get what you want or you deserve. I do not think that that's what life is like. I think life is like going to a thrift store where you might have an idea about what you want, but ultimately you're just going to have to sort of sift through a mountain of stuff that fits you or doesn't fit you until you find that one precious mushroom lamp that will go perfectly under your bedroom. And I think for me, as I'm sifting through honestly, this like inundation of like him revealing himself to me on a daily basis. Wow. I'm looking for, well, I'm allowing myself to be open to the positive things that he has to reveal to me. And I'm not getting caught up or fixated on hearing the words that I need to hear.
You have found a great alliance with people like you, like Monica Lewinsky, for one. She might have been the first, you know, of the internet age to be descended upon and cannibalized.
Yeah, and the 24-hour news cycle was just horrible with her. So.
How is that relationship? I mean, do you both identify with each other in a way that no one will ever understand?
Well, I think people can understand, but yes, absolutely. When I first met Monica, I recognized in her someone who was showing me the way out of the grave that I had been buried in. And like, I met her at a time in my life when the messaging I received was that I needed to shut up and disappear because my story didn't matter, I didn't matter, and no one would believe me anyway, even if I tried to tell my story. And then Monica showed up in my life, and she showed me that it took her a long time, but like she could arrive at a place where she stood above that box that people had tried to limit her and used it as a platform to tell her own story. And that really taught me something. And also just her warmth as a human being. Like, she really sort of took me under her wing and mentored me in a way that I needed, and that no one in my life could really give me that kind of guidance, because my own family didn't have a perspective on how to deal with this. And there was no guide to being a globally vilified woman.
It still isn't, which is why I find it so fascinating that you found strength in each other, and that she, as a trailblazer, had to first learn the internet, learn what it is, and then navigate herself out of it. And she's done a remarkable job. She's a spectacular person, and she's benevolent and kind and charitable and
very very much interested in elevating people who have been like pushed down, women especially who have been just like brutalized. She is so good at that.
You learned to speak Italian with a Harry Potter book in prison.
Yes. Yeah, well, you got to learn somehow, because nobody was speaking English. And so I had to very quickly try to navigate an environment that was hostile and foreign to me. And I was trapped in a cell with people who could not speak English. And so I immediately navigated to something that was familiar, and it didn't hurt that it was YA, so it was a little bit easier to read than, you know, a more adult book.
Wait, what's YA?
Young adult.
Young adult book.
Yes.
But you had read it in English, correct?
Oh, yes. I had read it
in
like 10 times.
And you found it in the prison library in Italian?
Yes. That was a lucky break. And I just sat there with that book and translated it, you know, sentence by sentence until I had figured out the language. And
and you still want to speak it today. Like, you're not done with that. Cut it from my life. You're not divorcing yourself of the awfulness that was. You're embracing it.
Yes. My mom has, like, against her will, learned some Italian from the sheer amount of time that she spent there. But she has that perspective of, I want nothing to do with it.
I get it.
And I get it too. But for me, I look at it as I grew up in Italy in a very big way. I grew up more than I should have in Italy in a very big way. And so Italy is a part of me now. The language is a part of me. When I came home, I was slipping into Italian. I couldn't remember what language I was even speaking. And it felt like it was a denial of that part of me that survived prison. Like, that is an important part of who I am that I embrace. And the other thing that I wanted to acknowledge was that it wasn't like everybody was evil to me in Italy. I talk about my friendship with the prison priest and how like he was there to hold my hand through that experience when my family wasn't able to be there. And so there are beautiful and wonderful things about the language and the culture and the people that if I'm a responsible person, must acknowledge. And so even going back to Italy to meet my prosecutor, one of the goals that my husband and I, we had a mantra going into it. And our mantra, going into the most beautiful depths of Mordor that you could possibly go down to, was make good memories. We need to make good memories, because I have so many bad memories from Italy, and I feel like they are misrepresentative of what Italy can be and is to so many people. And I wanted it to be that way for me again. And, you know, I visited the house where I had lived, where this whole tragedy had happened. I did. I mean, I didn't go inside, obviously. Someone else is living there, but I went up to it and I approached it. And I remember just feeling this dark, dark dread in my body. And then I saw it, and it was just a house. It was a house that someone else was living in now. And I had this just astonishing realization that it was just a place. It was a place where hearts had been broken and people had been hurt and love had been expressed. And the whole spectrum of human existence is in a place. And it isn't just bad.
That is Amanda Knox's new memoir. It's called Free, My Search for Meaning. It's available wherever you get your books. And can I just say, I was so impressed with Amanda Knox. I did not expect the person I met. I expected someone who rightfully should be so angry. She is not. I expected someone who would hate the Italian people. She does not. And I was just astounded at how measured and sober she is, and how bright she is, and how she has taken the experience she's been through and made such good of it. That's my impression. I've spent now several hours with her, and wow, she blew me away.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.